What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Strung Out. And we're going back to Twisted by Design, the one album I did have as a teenager and that I listened to basically, I would say, right around the time it came out up until like '01 or '02. And as I mentioned way back when I began this deep dive, after that I sort of just drifted away from Strung Out in terms of I didn't get the next album, and so they sort of drifted off my radar. In part, as I mentioned before, that was the period when I was starting to play rave parties, so my music life was very busy, but I'm very happy now to go back through this album and to re-engage with it. And indeed, it's interesting. So far, there's been one tune that clearly came back to me sonically, but which I didn't recognize by name, so it is likely that will continue to happen for at least a few tunes along the way. I did really enjoy DeVille, which I realized, after the fact, is the reference to the car, because he's talking about, living in his car and cars passing by, and it's sort of like the vehicle for the metaphor of the song, if you will. Nevertheless, the next tune is Mind of My Own. I don't remember it by name, but it speaks to perhaps a desire for cognitive independence, the idea of not letting someone infiltrate your mind and affect your decisions, whether that's someone you're in a relationship with or perhaps demagogues in society or other mental influences. So I do wonder if that actually has anything to do with it, as I've been doing recently. I will look at the lyrics after we hear it, so let's listen. This is Strung Out, Mind of My Own, from the 1998 album Twisted by Design, and that should be on. Oh, I remember this. Remember that riff.
It's 4 o'clock, the TV's on. My mind is shut up and my own thoughts are gone. I change and shout, I change my mind, I change my life, I wanna live it on the high. 'Cause I don't have a mind of my own. I knew it by nothing that I see, but I can't help it now. Everything in my life just thinks for me.
Okay.
I'm in love with my disease, worshiping my heart on time and life I cannot seize. Jump out of depression and I sleep all day. The sun's better than a man living out of day. There's so much harder to drive for attention. No loving less, it's to the city. There's so much more than the war with the world of my own. Kind of catching the friends and I preach my best and makes y'all right out loud. To everyone to listen. I'm not afraid to be alive. Don't afraid to be wrong. Let it make my mind feel fine. The mind is better out of my past. All alone with the body to talk to. Still not doing gas for you to test. I took my life, but I still want it. The guns I'm dead till twisted to sleep. Somehow brought the door around me. If my race has begun, the race is up to me. I don't have a mind of my own. I don't have a mind of my own. I don't have a mind of my own. Everything in my life just thinks for me.
It's perfection. Like, I'm getting a sense for how they compose songs. Like, it's taken me 2 1/3 album, but 2 1/3 albums. But yeah, the way that one played out at the end, I feel like, I've heard enough of their music to get a sense for where that was going. I love it. It's interesting. Like, the first part of it feels like their version of Bad Religion's Best for You. Everybody knows it's best for you. The people on TV, the people in the magazines, the authors, the politicians, the religious figures. Everybody knows what's best for you. You don't need to think at all. Just take their word for it. Just take their words and put them straight into your brain, and let that play out. So the first part felt like that, but then it felt like there was also a personal angle to it in the way that it like feels to be bombarded by those different influences. And there was a part at the end which I'll look at it in a moment, but I wish I could remember it because I like sort of having, what it felt like and then, double checking. So yeah, I can't remember what the third major lyrical aspect that jumped out at me in the moment, so we'll just look it up. Okay, so the lyrics, it's 4 o'clock, the TV's on, my mind is shut off, and I'm assuming that's 4 a.m. Shut off and my own thoughts are gone. I changed the channel, changed my mind, I changed my life, I want to leave it all behind. So the idea of changing your mind as simply as hitting a button on a remote control because, now the new channel is saying something new, so that's what you're thinking. Because I didn't have a mind of my own, influenced by everything I see, can't help it now, everything in my life just thinks for me. Can't help this habit, I'm in love with my disease, worshipping my idle time, a life I cannot seize, trapped by depression and I sleep all day. Yeah, Xanax, Valium, Ativan makes it all okay. So yeah, again, it's not just the philosophical principle of trying to stake out an independent mind and being unable to do so because of the cacophony of opinions and prescriptions that are shoved down your throat, but it's also the way that hits you psychologically and emotionally. It's so much more than a cry for attention. No loving hands can soothe this ache. So much more than a war with the world. It's my own degradation. It's my own self-hate. I preach my pessimism right out loud to anyone who'll listen. I'm not afraid to be alive. I'm afraid to be alone. I literally just reacted to a track by Massive Attack that's all about that theme. Late at night, my monsters find me from under the bed or right out of my past. All alone with nobody to talk to. Sanity gets put to the test. I close my eyes, but I'm still haunted. Sometimes I get too twisted to sleep, twisted by design. As all my world crumbles around me, inspirations become admissions of defeat. I do love that line, because I don't have a mind of my own, mind of my own, mind of my own. Everything in my life just thinks for me. So yeah, it sounds pretty much like what I was thinking, that it's about the way it's gotten to the point where he doesn't even know if he has an original thought anymore, because everything he encounters, the TV, everything in his waking life, in his day-to-day life, is telling him what he should think and how he should think. And it's the psychological effect of that, where to the point where he's trying to take prescription drugs to, dull the feeling so he doesn't have to, go through this mental process, but that is itself making him feel depressed and defeated and, bereft of any inspiration or creativity. So, yeah, heavy song, and one that, perhaps as we go through the album, I'll be thinking about the album title. So it's funny, the riff at the beginning, clearly remembered it, but it's one of those things that by the end of the tune, I was like, man, this section's awesome, and I don't remember this. So it may have been the case that it was one that I would listen to the first minute or two, but maybe skip past. So it's crazy. It's weird. There's been a few albums, including, Smashing Pumpkins, a couple of theirs, and so on, where it's like, I had this back in the day. Theoretically, I listened to it, but I don't remember it as much as I should. So yeah, really interesting. The next time we come back for this, it will be Reason to Believe. So we'll see what that's about. Once again, shout out to Paulie. Let me know what you think. We'll see you next time. Peace.